Welcome to the Personal Trainers Who Care podcast. I'm Catherine Marion, and I am a trainer and manager at the Freeform Fitness Wellington location, and I will also be your host as we get to know another member of our incredible team. Here we share the stories of our personal trainers because at the heart of every fitness business is a passionate individual who cares about changing lives and helping others realize their full health potential. This podcast is a production of Freeform Fitness, a boutique-style personal training studio with 6 locations across Ottawa, Canada. Here we hire the very best personal trainers. They are ambitious, hardworking team players who know how to get their clients results. Our trainers provide expert personal training services in studio and also online, and every program is tailored to the individual needs of the client. If you would like to know more about Freeform Fitness, visit us at freeformfitness.ca. In today's episode, we are going to talk to Nicholas Lang. He's a personal trainer at our Wellington location. He's been with us since April, and he brings along with him a lot of fun, including some knowledge about skateboarding. We're going to talk about all of that very soon. Welcome to today's edition of the Personal Trainers Who Care podcast. Welcome, Nick.
Hey, happy to be here.
Awesome. Listen, swimmer, right? Like I remember when we first met, I saw in there that you're an actual national lifeguard. So that to me sounds, really important. What does that mean?
So National Lifeguard is, it falls under Life Saving Society, which is a company whose main mission is to sort of reduce the amount of drownings in North America. So I got certified in that to become a lifeguard, and the course was called National Lifeguard. It used to be called National Lifeguard Swimmers.
Okay.
It's changed a little bit.
And okay, so does that mean that, obviously if you're going to be a lifeguard, it means that you're a strong swimmer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I swam since I was 4. Parents put me in there to sort of help me get over my initial fear of water as a young kid. And then I swam until I was 13. Then I did some competitive swimming and took the prerequisite course to the National Lifeguarding course. And then 16 until I started working here, I was a lifeguard with the YMCA and then the city of Ottawa.
That's amazing. So do you have I think of swimming, I think of Olympics, right? And I know all what they do, right? There's the front crawl and then the back and the breaststroke. Like there's all these, interests. Did you have a favorite?
Favorite would probably have to be, it depends. Whenever I'm doing a sprint, it would definitely have been front crawl. It was the most efficient way to swim in my personal opinion.
Okay.
But definitely for endurance, I was more of a fan of the breaststroke. It's slow, it's steady, it's easy. I can go a long time with breaststroke.
Very cool. Okay, so now that you're here and you're working full time with us, are you able to keep up with some of your swimming passion?
Yeah, I do my best. Now that I'm no longer with the city, I don't have the free access to the pool. So
yes.
I can only go now only once a week, but I do go occasionally, maintain the skills. I'm trying to still maintain my certifications just because I find that stuff can be important to help maintain not only for a fitness level, but also just like CPR and all that going further in day-to-day lives.
Fabulous. I love that. So, obviously, maybe that was your start. Would you think that swimming was the start of your love for fitness?
I would say definitely, yeah. Swimming was probably the first sort of organized athletic sport-related thing I was in. It definitely led into the first and only organized sport I was a part of with competitive swimming. So it was definitely the beginning of it. It gave me the taste for movement.
Awesome. Okay, so just out of curiosity, what other things? So your parents started you at swimming when you were quite young. Are there other sports that you practiced as a kid?
There was lots of stuff that I did as a kid. I was a big fan of all sports. I came from a low income family, so we didn't end up getting into any registered programs, but I remember around the block, get a couple of buddies, play a pickup game, a basketball or some ball hockey. Pretty much anything and everything that I could do either at my school or with my friends, I did.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, okay, so now we're going to fast forward a little bit. So here you are, really good at swimming, so much so that, you were able to become, because they don't just pick anybody to be a lifeguard, let's be honest. Getting there must not have been an easy, you had to pass tests and stuff, right?
Yeah, no, 3 levels of certifications, 2 tests, and then every 2 years you have to recertify to maintain.
Yeah. So clearly, you're very strong at that. So how do you go from that to realizing, okay, maybe then I'd like to do this, for a job. I'd like to become a personal trainer. How did that happen?
Well, funny enough, for the longest time I wanted to be an electrician. That was the goal I really wanted to do, kind of thing. But
Okay,
over
you're throwing
time,
surprise answers at me. I love it.
over time though, I realized that the trade was a fun hobby, but it wasn't something I was really passionate about. And I started to do more sports, like I got really into extreme sports like parkour and dance, things that involve like expressive movements. And that sort of built a passion for being able to move. And then seeing people around me, I realized they can't move as efficiently, or they hurt. And it sort of led me down this road of like, okay, that's what I want to do. I want something that keeps me moving, but also allows me to help others keep moving.
That's really great. So I guess that led you to make decisions as far as your education went?
Yeah, no, education wise, I knew I wanted to be in Ottawa, someplace I always wanted to go, even back when my job was to become an electrician. I really liked the city. And then it was just sort of just getting finding what sort of things I needed to do. I knew I needed to be certified, but I wanted a little more extensive background. And I stumbled across Algonquin College's fitness and health promotion programs, 2 years, short but sweet, and
Nice.
it seemed like the right fit for me.
That's really good. So what would you say, was your main motivator? I mean, you talked a little bit about, helping people move and, seeing how for some it can be really difficult. Was that sort of your main motivator, you think?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty close to my main motivator. When I was looking at when I got to that end of high school age where I sort of had to figure out what I needed to do with my life, I realized the only way I would really be happy in a career long term is if I felt like I was doing something fulfilling and something that would keep me active. Personal training, allowing people, helping people to move and reach their fitness goals, it feels rewarding to me. And that was probably the biggest motivators, feeling that I am making a difference in my community.
Awesome. So listen, you went through all the steps, and you and I met because you were originally a co-op student here at the gym. I've often, because we get frequent co-op students, we really love being able to help because we know this is an industry where we need to have people, we need to have good people, and so it's a great way for people to learn. But I never had a chance to ask a co-op student once they leave, once they go off to other places, what did that experience feel like? What was that like for you? Forget the part that that you're hired, that you're here now, but when you were here in the beginning, what was that like?
It was a exciting and honestly kind of a little nervous, scary shift kind of thing. I didn't know with the pandemic and all that, my schooling, most of it was online. So placement was one of the few ways that I actually got that hands-on experience. So to actually see in person rather than through a textbook, like what we do, how we impact other people's lives, that was a big thing for me coming here. It was amazing, and it just sort of further cemented the idea that this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, I think for me, looking back at those times, I can always tell when there's a good fit because you were interested from the get-go. And this is me giving you feedback right here on live television, but you were always interested in what was happening and why is that? And it's easier for us, because oftentimes the clients that we've had them for years and years and years. So it's all in the back of my mind, right? But when you're coming in, you're like, well, wait a minute, why are we doing it like that? But you were so inquisitive about these things. I thought that's the value of a trainer is, it's not textbook, right? You're probably realizing that now more than ever, right? That it's not textbook.
100%.
So I remember, thinking how valuable that is, that you wanted to know the reason behind all of the things and how it's not all the same with every single one of our members because everybody is really different, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
All right, so you're here. You've been here since, when have you been here since? April?
Yeah, I was hired in April, and then it was kind of a slow start because the gyms were still closed.
Yes.
And then May things opened up, and I've
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
working full time since.
All right. So what's it been like for you? What's it been like for you, these first beginnings, including the pandemic? Because we threw you right into the virtual sessions. Like you went from, we plan a career, but we don't plan a career virtually. This, maybe the future generations will. So what was that like for you, that learning curve?
A learning curve? Well, luckily it was more getting comfortable with the in-person. That was the shift. The first month where we were still doing things online, like that was my environment. That's all my labs and everything were similar to that. So I've been for a couple of my labs, I had to train like family and friends to sort of like get the experience that way, and it sort of allowed me to get used to the online platform. It was definitely a big shift moving to it's back to in person, and I think for me it was just I got thrown into it. I didn't really have time to worry about it. I just got in, I did it, and if I didn't know, I made sure to ask. I didn't really have time to try and guess what I should do. I just went in, I did it. If I messed up, it's one mistake and I moved on, and then I learned from it, kind of thing. So
and which is we all do that, right? It's all a learning curve because we learn with the client, right? We have ideas of what we should do and how it should possibly be done, but then you're faced with a human body that moves differently, and then so we're all learning together, right? So it's not just you, it's all of us.
yeah, no, exactly. And I don't think you're ever going to be able to like 100% know everything about like human body and how it moves. Because like you said, everyone's different, everyone's built different, everyone moves differently. So
Yeah.
there's always going to be new challenges.
Speaking of learning, you make a point of, continuously learning things. Why is that important to you? Because you have a few certifications, I noticed on your bio. Why is it important for you to keep learning?
Well, I feel it's growth is an important thing. I think a lot of people see as soon as they're 18, it's like, okay, done with school, not going to worry about it, don't need to learn anymore. But the world is constantly changing. I feel it's important to try and grow and be a better person, and look back, see where you become, and be more happy, more proud of the progress you're making. I feel, life like the gym, you got to make the progress. Bicep curl, you start at 5 pounds, maybe a year later, you're curling 50. It's just learning and continuing that education is just expanding and growing, not just physically, but mentally.
So what do you think some, one or two of the things that you've learned the most since starting here? Like, what are some of the biggest things that sort of stand out for you?
Biggest things that stand out. One thing that was a relief was, and for anyone that is like in training to become a personal trainer, don't stress too much about programming. That was something I learned too much. I remember it used to take me like hours to come up with programs because I'd just be worried about like, is this right? Is this wrong? So putting a little more faith in myself and my education was something that I had to learn here, and I'm very grateful for it. Something that else that learned is a big thing was just sort of how people move. Like, even though they look like they might be able to do one thing or another, like it may not be so. So you're gonna have to really like listen to the feedback, see what they're doing, and then progress and change things around for them. So I think pretty much everything I'm trying to say falls under one category of is just like how much adaptive you need to be in this industry.
As you were talking, I'm thinking adaptability. That's exactly what he's talking about it, and you just said it, right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
no, I think it's not three, but I feel like all the skills I have learned are sort of in that category of like just needing to be adaptable in your environment.
Love it. If somebody came into the gym tomorrow and said, okay, I'm offering free certification, what would you like to learn next? What do you think you'd like to learn next?
I think I would like to learn.
There's too much to choose from, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot of options.
Okay, I'll tell you mine. Mine is kettlebells. I'd love to get even better at kettlebell movements. That's where I'd go.
Yeah, no, kettlebells are good. Resistance bands are good. I think I might switch things away from personal training and do like a group fitness class. I think group fitness classes are very fun. So maybe like a drum fit certification or a Zumba certification would be nice.
Oh, you would not want me in your Zumba class. I'm telling you right now. I love it. That's awesome. Okay, so do you think that, that you could incorporate some of that, that fun sort of Zumba stuff? Do you think you could incorporate that with your clients? Like not doing it because we're not really a group setting, but that idea that you like it. Do you think if you could put some of that spiciness into your training with your clients?
Oh yeah, 100%. I know already with some clients that are looking for like maybe more of a weight loss program kind of thing. I already have I had to get certified in like general group fitness with my program. And I know I definitely take things in there from that, like tempo and all that stuff, just to find ways to move in a more fun way, especially when you're doing stuff that is more high intensity.
Awesome. That brings me back to, our clients. They're very varied, aren't they? Like you have clients that are, young-ish, right? I remember there was a teenager for a while, all the way up to, senior citizens. How is it that you're able to help everybody like that?
I think the main thing is that I don't want to take all the credit. I feel like it's a partnership between the trainer and the client. It's a lot of trial and error. And as long as, they're giving me that feedback, what does work, what doesn't work kind of thing, I feel that helps a lot. In the consult too, it really helps knowing goals. Right now, I'm training one client that, has a hip replacement, is in the senior category kind of thing. So we're doing a lot of hip mobility work because we talked about that. I now know as a trainer that what needs to be focused on. And then that 14-year-old you were talking about that I was training over the summer, they play rugby. They needed to get a little bit more beefier. They needed to work more on their like explosive powers. So because they told me their previous training regimen, it sort of gave me a gauge and helped me, more narrow down what would work best for them.
Yeah. And that brings us back to training is for every body. And when I say body, I mean the actual body, right? Hip replacement or youth, any kind of challenge, whether it's, a physical challenge, broken bones, that have healed obviously, but, we've had people come in with casts like, okay, my arm's in a cast, what can we do? And we, work around it. So what we do is helpful no matter where you are and what type of body you have, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Love it. What do you think that when you're talking to your clients now, because things are going well, we're still, for those of you that are watching right now, we're in two separate parts of the gym so that we could remove our masks. We're being really safe. We have our masks on when we train our clients at all times. I keep mine close. The doors are locked, so nobody's coming in right now, so we're extra safe. But things are sort of opening up at this time right now. People are coming back. They know the rules here. Everyone that comes into our gym is vaccinated. We check that when they come in. What do you find that people are looking for the most right now? This sort of, I don't want to say post-pandemic because we're not, we're still kind of in it. But what are the clients looking for most right now, you think?
The main one that I hear whenever a client comes in and has a consult with me, I start with what brings you to freeform, and the main thing I hear is I want to feel better. I want to be stronger. Those two kind of are interchangeable kind of thing. And I think a lot of people have been, stuck seated at a desk or at home for 2 years now with this pandemic. So I feel a lot of them are looking to reduce that sedentary behavior in their life. Get moving. It feels good to move. They don't want to feel tight. They want to be able to do stuff that they used to do and now can't. I know that even myself, even as a personal trainer, I struggled with the motivation with not having access to a gym for 2 years. And when I came back, it was tough, and my body hurt, things were tight. So I think what everyone's looking for is just to feel better.
So if someone's listening right now and they're like, okay, well, I kind of want to feel better too, but I haven't been in a gym in 2 years or ever, right? Or ever. Can they still come in? Can they still come to Freeform and join us?
Yeah, no, like you said, it's for everybody and everybody kind of. Honestly, the sooner you come in, the better, because, if your goal, let's say, is 6 months away, it could be 6 months away from today if you start today. if you don't start for another 6 months, then you're not going to hit your goal for a year.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say come in. The level you're at will just determine how quickly we progress. That's all.
Yeah. And we meet everybody where they are. And goals are your own. So whether your goal is, you hope to be able to pick up your new grandchild that's about to enter into the world in the next little while, or whether it's, you're thinking of running your first 10K, right? Like whatever that goal is, we can help you get there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Okay, so we've talked about everybody else's training. What about your own training? What are some of your favorite exercises? I see you training in the gym every once in a while. What do you prefer to do?
Well, right now, what I'm doing is like strength training with a lot of like barbells and dumbbells kind of thing. I calisthenics back when I do like parkour and gymnastics, I did that a lot. So now I'm sort of shifting more into free weights. It's something that's sort of still new to me. So I'm getting excited about that a lot. Getting stronger. I'm trying currently, if anyone listening right now is following my Instagram, I've been working towards reaching a goal of 150. So I'm just trying to put on some mass. And also my most recent hobby, skateboarding. I'm doing a couple like functional programs to help sort of better that, some joint stability, some injury prevention. So I like a little bit of everything.
Well, let's talk about that. You know, it's in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, when somebody says they like to skateboard, it's because they've been doing it since they were like, 5. But you really just recently started skateboarding, didn't you?
Yeah,
What brought you to that?
I really don't know. I think it was, again, that itch to move, because what I did with my first paycheck after working here, when I got the job with Freeform, was buy my first skateboard. So I started around the same time, and it was just, hey, I've been sitting way too long. It's beautiful out. Let's try and learn this. Remember as a kid, I got one of those like little Walmart boards kind of thing that don't really work too well. Any skaters listening will get the reference. But yeah, so I tried to like ride around on it, couldn't really do anything, and then now as an adult, I'm like, I really want to learn this. This looks cool. Like I think it's fun. And I used to do like parkour, which was another extreme sport and based around like creativity, expression of movement.
Okay, so in case anybody's listening and they're not sure what that is, take a second to explain what parkour is.
Oh yeah, for sure. So parkour, free running, you could have there. It's now sort of interchangeable. All what it is sort of, seen any James Bond movie, you've already seen it before. It's sort of, in the simplest terms, it's moving from point A to point B as efficiently, but also as creatively as possible. So instead of, walking into a building and going up one flight of stairs, you might like run and do a wall scale, which is when you run, kick off the wall, grab the top, pull yourself up. Same goal, A to B, but it's a little more creative.
Okay, so that's what helped you to want to get into skateboarding.
Yeah, so I developed this love of like sort of just treating the world as my playground and moving freely, having fun with a close-knit group of friends. And it's something that also too you could do by yourself. Like I said before, I didn't really do organized sports as a kid, so having a sport that is free to do and like you don't need a team for definitely was a big pull.
Okay, so now we know winter is coming, so you won't be able to board. I mean, we're still kind of okay. What are you going to do? How are you going to stay active, stay busy in the winter months? I mean, other than working here.
Well, I'm still going to continue my training for skateboarding. Right now, I have a goal. I would like to be able to compete in 2 years. Not like high level competitions, but I'd like to do some.
Compete in what?
Oh, skateboarding. They have
nice.
A competition, a few different levels, few different categories. I'd like to compete in either a skate competition or a street competition. And so I'm going to continue my training for that. There's also indoor parks, but what I'm really hoping for Christmas is I get a snow skate, which just allows you to skateboard on the snow.
Wow, you need a hill for that? Like you need a hill for that?
No, it's like a skateboard, but the tail and the nose, so the curved part on the end is slightly curved more up, so you can still pop the board up. And it kind of has like grooves in the bottom, like a toboggan or a snow sled has, so that
Wow.
it will still go straight. So it allows you to skateboard on the road or at the skate park like you would with wheels. But as long as there's a thin layer or even a thick layer of snow, you can still skate.
Oh my goodness, I hope Santa's listening. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
Well, my next question was going to be, what do you do on your downtime? So you know that you like skateboarding, staying active and you're here, but if you take those things aside, do you do anything else in your downtime?
I
Are you
think
just
it's
always active?
yeah, I like to move. I don't like to sit down for long periods of time, but if I'm not hanging out with my friends or doing something active like basketball or skateboarding kind of thing, then I guess my guilty pleasures for downtime would be like maybe binging some TV shows or
There you go.
playing some Halo. I'm a big Halo fan.
Very cool. So if someone is listening to us right now and they're kind of inspired to train with you, what is it that you would like them to know about you, about Nicholas Lang, the personal trainer?
Something you'd like to know about me is Nicholas Lang, the personal trainer. Oh, that's tough. I don't know. Pretty much an open. I'm pretty much an open book. I want to hear your story. I want to hear your goals. I want to learn about you. Something interesting and new about me. I don't know. It's tough.
I put you on the spot. All right. Okay, so forget about that. How about this? How about you're not really using your given name? What's that all about?
Oh yeah. I go by my middle name, Nicholas. My first name's actually Christopher. I guess I would be Christopher the second or Chris Jr. My dad's name's Christopher, so
Got it.
my parents really wanted me to have the same first name as my dad, but they didn't want to get confused in the household, so they decided to start calling me by my middle name. Funny enough, they probably told me, but I forgot it as a kid. But the first time I remember actually knowing what my first name was I had a supply teacher in grade 6 who had an old sheet of attendance
Okay.
and called me Christopher for like 5 minutes, and I didn't know why.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. And did you have to go home and or did it kick in, or did you have to kind of go home and say, what was that all about?
Yeah, I went home because they were just like, because that eventually when no one was answering the attendance, they started calling by the last name Lang, and I was like, I'm Lang. I know that. I don't know who this first guy is, but I'm Lang.
The best story.
I went back home and I asked my parents. I was like, my teacher, I had a supply today, kept calling me Christopher. I don't know why. They're like, well, that's your name.
Oh my goodness, it's 6th grade. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Well, good thing we know that you're Nicholas, and you're the only Nicholas in this gym as far as a trainer goes. So that's good. I like that. All right. So I always like to finish off with some rapid fire questions. I'm just going to pull these up here. All right. So what is something that you know now that you wish you knew when you first started personal training?
I think I'm going to have to put out one of my answers I've already given of like the programming. I put a lot of stress into programming, and now it's like, have faith in yourself. This is trial and error. You're not going to find the perfect exercise first time.
Yeah. And, a side note to this, sometimes it's hard to program because we want to get it all set up, but it's hard to program until we really get to know the person. Right? Because we might have a really great idea, and then next thing you know, you work with someone 2, 3, 4 times, you realize, okay, it's not at all where we have to make some changes. We got to, switch things up, right?
Yeah, no. Just last week, I had a client that took like a month off, so I knew where we were before then, but I wasn't aware of how quickly the regression and the progress would happen over a month. So we tried some stuff out, and I was like, oh, this doesn't work. We're gonna have to bring it back further. Kind of.
And so thinking fast on our feet is what we do, right?
Yeah.
Love it.
Program the movement patterns, plug and play those exercises, pick what's best for the client.
All right. What is the first skill you like to teach beginners? So a beginner in the gym, someone who's just starting to train. What first skill do you like to teach them?
First skill. I feel like an important skill to have, if assuming they don't already have this skill, would be like a single leg lunge, like a lunge, sort of single leg squat, something like that.
Yep.
I find that's important because that's going to be used when you're walking, running, getting down, picking things up. I feel like a lunge is probably one of the most like functional exercises in our day-to-day life. So if they don't have that ability, I want to get them to a place where they can safely and confidently do so.
Gotcha. I like that. All right. And what do you think? This is where you have to brag a little bit. What do you think is your most valuable coaching skill?
My most valuable coaching skill. I'd say the big thing between maybe me and other personal trainers is that I feel like I'm more of an educator than a personal trainer. I sort of want the clients to be in a place where it's like they know how to work out, they know how to program, they know why we do these exercises versus these exercises. And it pretty much gets them to a place where, you know, maybe not the most financially responsible thing on my end, but get them to a place where they don't need me anymore. So I feel like that's what divides me. I over explain everything. I break it all down so that they know 100% this is why we're doing it, so that if they ever do choose to try it on their own, they can. They have that knowledge now.
And, you know, I think, you know, as the manager of this location, you know, you and I work together. I can often hear you. And I think that's so valuable because, you know, yes, we want our, you know, clients to come back and come back and come back again. But, you know, if they want to work out one day on their own or 2 days on their own, or like you said, eventually they feel confident they can go out on their own. Having that knowledge, I think the way that you give them those explanations, I think is such a gift to them. Really, it is.
Yeah, no, it's really good. And also too, I find it feeds in also to form. Like if they understand why we're doing a row, what you're supposed to feel, I'm not going to have to correct them so much on form, and they're going to get more benefits from it. And like you said, if they do choose to do personal training and working out, I do have a few clients that do that, personal train for half of their workouts and then work out on their own for the other half. They're going to see their goals quicker. They're going to progress faster because they're knowing what they need to do and how to do it.
That's awesome. I think that's such a great quality. Okay, so for anyone who's watching us now, they want more information. First of all, they know that they can find you at the Wellington location. We're at Wellington near Parkdale at the corner of Hamilton. But they can also follow you on your Instagram. But you also have a skateboarding Instagram. So tell us about those places where they can find you.
Yeah, so my personal training account, that I try to upload once a week, typically Mondays, a workout, and then a Wednesday I'll post like another fitness related thing. Maybe it's a food thing, maybe like diet meal prep, maybe it's sort of form on a specific exercise. But the first Wednesday of every month, so today when we're recording, I will be posting a progress pic so people can see that I'm coming in, I'm putting in the work too. I'm not going to make you do something that I would do myself. Awesome. As for the skateboarding one, that's just sort of, I throw my videos in there. It's to sort of see me progress. I really just sort of wanted to have it so anyone who's interested, family, friends, clients, can sort of see what I've been doing. I injured myself like a few weeks ago, yes, so I know a lot of clients are curious about how my skateboarding's going now that I've recovered. So it's just a place where you can sort of watch me progress. Personal training, you can learn some new exercises, get workout routines, and make sure I'm also, keeping up with what I need to be doing.
That's something that we should have touched on. I'm going to, go back to that because you did injure yourself recently. You had a heck of a fall on your skateboard. You kind of did some pike of some sort, if I registered correctly, right? And you landed, right? And it was your knee and your wrist, right?
Yeah. I was trying to, for anyone that watches skateboarding, I know it's on the Olympics, so I'm sure a lot of people have now gotten more into the skateboarding scene, but I was trying to drop in on a 5-foot quarter pipe, and I didn't do the warm-up steps before. I tried to progress too quickly, and just like working out, if you push too hard, sometimes you get hurt, and that's what happened. I landed on my knee and wrist funny and wasn't wearing the protective gear I should have been. Now I am.
But you know what, that brings, because you were coming into the gym and you had the brace and you had the wrist thing and the brace around your knee, and you were still doing some stuff. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is we can work around these things and, you know, get you to a better place quicker. So I think your knowledge of what we're doing in here, plus the knowledge of your own body, I mean, you're skateboarding, you're back on the board, and the injury was like last month.
Yeah, no, I think it's because, yeah, like you said, I luckily, thankfully, I have the knowledge. So I worked on it. And a lot of people, when they get injured, you know, I feel they use that as an opportunity to, like, I'm not going to move. I'm not going to do anything until it heals. And yes, you should rest. I'm advocating rest. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you also don't want to stop moving completely. You want to get blood flow to the area. Oxygen helps with the healing process. So the only way to do that is to, you know, get the muscles moving, pumping the blood through the body. So luckily, I knew what level I needed to start at. I knew how far I'd progress. I knew what needed to be worked on. And I just came in, put in the time, which should have been a 4-week recovery process, turned into a 2-week recovery process. So very grateful.
Yeah, that's really, really good. Well, listen, that brings us right up back to your platform. So if anybody wants to follow what you're doing on your skateboard, you've got the skateboarding Instagram. What's that address? That
address is Nick Lang Fit for the personal training, and for the skateboarding, it is Nick Lang Skate.
Okay, well, we're going to put those up at the end of this podcast, so nobody's expected to remember those off the top of their heads, but they'll be there at the end of the podcast, including the address where we're located here. Listen, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to talk to us and share, you know, your passion for what you do. And I'm grateful to have you on our team. So thank you so much for that. All right, well, if you at home want to know more about our personal trainers, all you got to do is like and subscribe. You can even ask us some questions on these podcasts. We always like to be able to talk to you directly. And, you know, stay tuned. There will be more podcasts where that came from. And plus, there's all the past podcasts that you can watch as well. So there you have it. Thanks again, Nick. Have a great day. All right. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.